From the Peterson Event Center on the campus of the great University of Pittsburgh inside Pitt Studios, welcome to the award-winning Pat Narduzzi Show. I'm Larry Richard with Panthers head coach Pat Narduzzi. Coach, while a Week 3 loss to Western Michigan was disappointing, it doesn't change your team's goals for the rest of the season.
It surely doesn't. It's one of those games that things didn't bounce our way. Obviously disappointing, but again, our goals as far as winning a championship and going through the ACC undefeated is what we're worried about. But before we get to that, we got a very good New Hampshire team coming in here Friday coming in Friday for Saturday's game that is a good football team and does some good things.
When you analyze the game and look back through the details, you're one play, a stop away from the outcome being different, and that makes it all the more frustrating. So what are the things you have to clean up for this week?
Well, I mean, it starts, it's everywhere. There's things everywhere that you can clean up. And, overall special teams were solid. But when you look at offensively, you can't turn the ball over 3 times. I mean, you turn the ball over 3 times and 2 on downs, and it leads to 24 points. And we can, go point the fingers at defense and go, hey, you didn't stop anybody, which we did not. And that was disappointing. And, probably so the turnovers are one thing. And then the disappointing part on defense is, you're going to give up some of those RPOs, and then all of a sudden you give up the runs too. You can't give an offense a chance to be two-dimensional. They ran it and they threw it when they wanted to, and that can't happen. And that's why I talk about stopping the run all the time. And when you don't stop that and your kids start to go, oh, wait a second, what's happened back there? Then they start to do other guys' jobs, and they got to focus on their job, do their job. And that's what we got to, I hope it's a learning lesson for everybody, offensively and defensively.
It was a case of inches, too, because some of the guys were so close to getting to the quarterback. He got the ball out, and then they made some plays. Randy Bates, your defensive coordinator, talk about, really drilling down this week on getting turnovers too. So without those turnovers like you had gotten in Tennessee, for instance, they made big differences, including ending that game.
That's right. They got them, and we didn't get any. And when that happens, and again, give them credit. They made the plays. The quarterback was on fire, and that happens sometimes. But again, that's life. It happens in regular life. It happens on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays during the week, and you got to deal with it. And it's going to be adversity that we got to come back from.
And win or lose, you go through a process. And Sunday, that's when at the end of that day, you put that part behind you, and you got to focus. You got an opponent coming in, and they're 3-0 in New Hampshire, and they're actually talking about you guys kind of being the wounded Panther, which they'd rather not. They were trying to sneak in on you, but I think your team to a man understands the disappointment. So how do you make sure that you don't feel sorry for yourself and you go, guys, we're a good football team. We can go out there and win on homecoming Saturday?
Well, I mean, you go out and you practice like we did last week, and then you better have your minds right, as we said at the beginning of the show, and we say every week. I think that's important, and it's hard to get in these young guys' heads and know exactly what they're thinking. Like I said, we had a good week of practice so far this week, had one last week, but what are they thinking about when they're not there? Are they putting the time in? Are they thinking about that? Or are they thinking, oh, it's going to be easy? And that's when you have problems.
I would imagine throughout the week, everybody's sharp and focused, and I'm sure they're getting after it at practice, right?
Yeah, I mean, we get after it. The guys are, they're working their tails off, and that's what you want. And but you got to go out and play angry. You got to be, you got to have something to prove every Saturday when you walk out there. You can't just throw your helmet out and think, oh, it's got a Pitt script on it. We're going to be okay today. You got to go out there and practice and play hard every day, and you got to go out with an attitude. You got to be angry.
And Kenny Pickett, your quarterback, when you look at stats, you go, wow, 6 touchdowns.
You won the game.
It should be enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's the first time, I think, in history where you've had 3 consecutive games where you scored over 40 points. Those are games you should win, and relying on the defense, and there were some letdowns that's not typical of this Panther defense.
It really isn't. And again, just go back, and we got some new guys out there, and it's, you can say they're talented and all that, but they haven't been in those shoes yet. Whether it's, and I thought Eric Cowlett played a solid day. He gave up some. He's got the hardest job out there with all those RPOs, and I wish we would have changed some things up, and that's hindsight. But he played a solid game. But you got to come ready to go every week.
So now, as you get ready for a new opponent, how do you get their minds right?
How do you? You just go back to the drawing board and continue to press on the important things, the little things. And again, it comes down to the little things. If you take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves. And that's what every week. And I just think it's a wake-up call for our kids. It's a wake-up that, hey, you can lose if you don't give it everything you got.
I would imagine every player and every coach can't wait. You guys are probably wishing the kickoff was tomorrow to kind of get going and turn the page and get a W.
No question about it. I mean, this Saturday afternoon can't come fast enough.
All right, when we come back, Coach's special guest is redshirt senior, right tackle Gabe Hoy. He'll join us here on the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Keep calm.
Woo, 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 woo.
And Terry on.
Are you paying attention?
No, I'm admiring my gun.
The Bradshaws are taking the field for a new season.
The fun has begun.
Let the games begin!
And the whole family is bringing their A-game.
Happy. You got it.
Okay, thanks.
Focus.
An all-new season of The Bradshaw Bunch premieres October 6th on E! And stream all of last season on Peacock.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Being home.
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. Larry Richard with Panthers head coach Pat Narduzzi and coach's special guest, right tackle Gabe Hoy, listed as 6'6", 325, give or take on any given day, right,
Yep.
Gabe?
Yeah, for sure.
Red shirt senior. How you doing? You okay? You feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm great. Excited to be here.
And I know as you go through your evening, we got to release you early because you got to get the films.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys look at? What for an hour and a half?
We just like to go over certain blitzes, certain formations, like our formations and what front they'll line up to us. So we just like to go back, review it, especially before our Thursday practice.
Probably the average fan coach doesn't appreciate the fine details of what the offensive line has to do on any given play, correct?
For sure.
I mean, there's a call for you, which changes what you do on a single play.
Yeah, for sure. There's not only a call, but then there's a multitude of adjustments you might have to make depending on what the defense brings. So each week it changes, and each week you have to adjust to that.
Gabe, they say the smartest football players on the field are usually the offensive linemen. I'm going to guess you won't disagree with that.
No, definitely not.
And what's it like to have Kenny Pickett back there in his fifth year with that poise and comfort the way he operates?
I think it's great. I'm used to it at this point, knowing he's been there for the past 3 years I've been playing. So it's great having him back there. I'm always confident in him, and he's confident in us, and I think that helps the offense a lot.
How's the mentality of the guys this week?
I think everyone's positive, knowing we can bounce back, and after this game, then we focus on ACC play. So it's good. It'll be a great week, and then let's get ready for that.
When you see the impact of linemen and players from the University of Pittsburgh in the National Football League, it's staggering. And Gabe, I'm sure you saw Brian O'Neill's new deal. Mm-hmm. Is that an encouragement to all of you guys?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was with him my first year. I was holding the bag for him when I was
You
scout
remind
team
him
player.
of that.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's just crazy to see what he's gone on to achieve. And I think that puts in perspective for all of us linemen there that we can achieve the same things if we work hard and follow that same mentality.
Yeah, I would imagine most of your players wish they could play on Sunday. Obviously, many do. But that is definitely, you look at Aaron Donald and all the other players throughout the league in the history, it's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. So I would assume, is that your goal to play on Sundays?
For sure, definitely.
You got to put the work in, right?
Yep, every day.
And I told Coach it was Coach that convinced Brian to move, and then Jackie Sherrill back in the day convinced Jimbo Covert to go to offense from defense. At first, he wasn't real happy about it, but it worked out for him.
Good move.
He ends up being in the Hall of Fame. So outside of what you do on the football field, what do you want to do in the future beyond the game?
I mean, I think there's a number of things I'd love to get into, like real estate, possibly. I have a degree in the administration of justice, so I've always been pondering about working with the FBI, maybe law enforcement, maybe forensics. So I think there's a number of different avenues I can go down and that I'd be interested in.
How's the team? After the loss on Saturday, you ready to go?
Yeah, for sure. I think it kind of gave everyone a reality check, and I think it gave everyone positive motivation and encouragement going into this week, just to focus on week to week, get the win, and then continue to grow each week and continue to improve.
And when you were going through the process, what made you choose the University of Pittsburgh back in your high school days?
I think every time I visited, they showed a tremendous amount of love. I'm a hometown Pittsburgh kid, so having the ability to have my family come every Saturday to watch the game was a huge, huge part of it, and having great coaches here that believed in me was a big part of it too.
And how much fun is it to play at Heinz Field?
Yeah, super cool. I've been watching the Steelers since I was 3 years old, so being able to watch them every day or every Sunday growing up, it's kind of surreal at times, looking around, being in the stadium, being on the field, and being able to witness all the fans and all the people around me.
Yeah, Coach, and you have a really unique setup because I don't know of any other – is there any other university that has a professional team at their practice site too and shares the fields?
No, nobody has what we have. That's the beauty of it. Obviously we share a stadium like the Dolphins and the Hurricanes do, but they don't practice together, which I think is incredible.
Yeah, it's actually really unique. So there you are with the guys that are playing on Sundays. Some of those guys you know, right?
For sure. It's always great coming off the practice field, and when we're done, we kind of get to hang out, watch them for a little bit, see what they do, and kind of just take notes from them.
And this process that you guys have gone through in the last 18 months, nobody could have ever anticipated last year, but you guys, worked your way through the season. What has that done to you? How has that changed your mind in any way or mindset of overcoming that kind of adversity?
I think it helps us just appreciate what we have. And kind of last year was definitely a struggle at times, trying to fight a huge global pandemic and my own injuries at the time. But then, I'm really appreciative for what we have this year, and I'm being healthy, and all those around me being healthy, and just being able to have the opportunity to play every week for certain.
And Coach, you're always talking about how precious those Saturdays are and how important they are. And you create a brotherhood, especially with your line mates, that's going to last the rest of your life. Talk about your new addition, Maryland grad transfer, Marcus Miner, who's been he's a character. He just strikes me. He's got a cool sense of humor.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He fit right in right when he got here in January. And ever since then, we've been just working hard, trying to always push each other, help each other, and we've always been comfortable around each other, even though he's been a new guy. So it's been great.
Cale Berger asked 10 questions of players. There's a lot of great answers, some you really don't anticipate. One of the questions he asked I thought was interesting. If you were stranded on a desert island, name 2 teammates who have to be there.
I'm definitely going to pick 2 Hogs, so I'd probably pick Carter and Owen. Just because they're my roommates, so I can depend on them, and I think we make a great team. So.
All right, well, good luck Saturday against the Wildcats of New Hampshire.
Thank you.
And I know you got to get to film. Dave Borbely, your coach, he'll be there. Does he ever smile? Have you ever seen him smile?
He's always smiling, more than people think.
All right,
always
good.
Cracking jokes. So
that's good to see because I see him. He walks out down the sideline. You know what I'm talking about too.
His grimace.
And then he's got his chart and he's pulling out his chart. What's he looking for on that chart all the time? Oh, you guys are out on the field.
Yeah, I'd have to ask him, but probably the different formations we're seeing, different blitzes we're seeing, and how to adjust.
Well, again, good luck. Great to see you on the Coaches Show, and we'll see you next week.
For
I'll
sure.
see you on the sidelines.
Thank you.
I'll be that really short guy next to the bench. Right tackle, red shirt senior Gabe Hoy. And when we come back, we'll talk to Pat Bostic, former Pitt quarterback and color analyst. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Stick together, attitude and effort all day long, okay? And we go Pitt tough.
When you're ready to buy a home, start your search at howardhanna.com. You'll be the first to see new listings, find similar properties, and connect with a local Howard Hanna agent. Get started today at howardhanna.com.
Being home.
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. Along with head coach Pat Narduzzi, we have Pat Bostic, former Pitt quarterback and Associate Athletic Director of Major Gifts. Patrick, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
After a game like that, as a player, you
move on.
You want to get to the next game in a hurry.
Onward.
Don't
you show up. Your memory's short. You move on. You watch the tape. Learn from it and play on. It's week 3, so it's early.
I heard that about D-backs, man. If you give up a touchdown,
quarterbacks too. Thrown plenty of picks in my career.
That's true.
I mean not plenty.
No, I didn't mean.
If you worry about them,
I mean it's true that if you're a quarterback, you can't feel sorry for yourself when you make a mistake, right? You got to go back out there as if.
Yeah.
Failure's
a part of growth, right? Failure's a part of growth. So you go out there and don't play well, you can get beat by anybody. So the lessons learned, right? You go out and play New Hampshire, they could beat you if you don't play well. So it's all about you.
All right, let's talk about New Hampshire. The Wildcats, Sean McDonald, their coach, 22 seasons, and somebody you're very familiar with. He talked about you in their press conference and thinks he has the ultimate respect for you as a coach, but he also said something that I thought significant in 22 seasons. He said, listen, this game against Pitt, this is the best team we've ever played. And went through a litany of reasons why, your speed, your size, all the things that we've come to know about Pitt football. And he also talked about coaching with your offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, and your defensive coordinator, Randy Bates. So the inner circles that intersect in the coaching world are pretty amazing, actually.
We were at Michigan State. He came out and visited with his defensive coordinator as well. So he kind of knows what we do defensively. Smart guy, great coach, great person.
And they had some challenges right off the bat because they lost their quarterback, their starter, Max Brosmer. And so Brett Edwards comes in. He's a sophomore, and he's done pretty well from there. They come to Heinz Field 3-0. They're feeling good about themselves, but they know they got a big challenge against Pitt.
Yeah, Brett Edwards, he looks like a starter out there. The one thing you're going to see is he just is effortless in the backfield. I mean, he doesn't get pressured at all. He scrambles. There's sometimes he's 18 yards deep in the backfield. I mean, and he just, he's got people chasing him from behind. He doesn't look panicked at all. It's just like he throws it. He's accurate. He's another impressive quarterback. We faced one last week, and this guy's scary because of his ability. He'll scramble to the right and throw all the way back to the left. He'll just underhand a ball to somebody. He's just got a knack. He's a playmaker, and you can see why he's won a state championship in high school.
Here's what you need to know about New Hampshire from Pat Bostic's perspective, brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day. Pat, how do you see it?
That's what I saw, scrambling. And, they do a little eye candy with the over motion and those zigzag guys back and forth. They spread you out, though. They'll run some RPO. But a lot of it, they've thrown the ball quite a bit. They got 2 pretty good backs, 20 and 26. 26 got some speed.
20's a good player, too.
Yeah,
20
20's
gets
a solid
the edge.
Player.
Yeah.
But quarterback run game is not a huge part of what they do, but they'll dink and dunk you, and they'll throw the RPO, and when something's not there, you better have yourself contained, or he'll extend that play for minutes, not just seconds, and you'll be running around covering guys forever, and that ain't easy to do.
Jordan Addison, the sophomore wide receiver, had himself a game. When you look at individuals and look at the good things, let's look at some of the good things that some of the players did for the Panthers. Jordan Addison was a plus.
Jordan Addison was outstanding, like he has been since he got here, and Jared Wayne had a heck of a ball game as well. He's been a guy that's catching those in-cutting digs, whatever you want to call them, and getting some yak as well. So we've been impressed with both those guys last week.
And Pat, who would you say stood out? You see, looking either side of the field.
Lucas Kroll's playing good ball in the pass game. I thought the touchdown he caught, the second one obviously down the chute, they ran he caught it and then got flipped over, held onto the football, got in the end zone. It was a big touchdown. And then the one on the goal line where it was a little bootleg or a little rollout, and he ran the flat and kind of circled back. That was kind of like backyard ball. That's the stuff you see like Kelsey do, where you just find a big guy and put it up in the air. And that's invaluable to have down in the red zone. A guy that size with that kind of reach, you can put him anywhere on the field, and he's a matchup problem for a safety, for a linebacker, for a corner. So he's brought an added dimension to the passing game and opened things up for Jordan and Jared and otherwise.
And, Coach, it's been difficult to run the football. What do you got to do to get that jump started?
We'll find out this weekend, but it has been disappointing. Without the run game, it wears on your time possession as well when you're not running it and you're scoring fast just with explosive passes. But we've got to get a run game going, and I got faith in those tailbacks back there. We got to give them a chance. I don't think our O-line particularly blocked well in the run game last week. We're not getting – if we just get our bodies on the right people and don't turn somebody loose, we've made some adjustments this week, and we'll find out if it works.
It's important, yeah. I mean, Kenny's back there, throwing the ball 50 times a game, and it's like the Steelers. You look at the Steelers, right? I mean, they're throwing the ball a lot, and you become as mobile as Kenny is. You start becoming a statue back there because those D linemen are going to one spot. They're not even worried about adjusting a run, spilling a run. They're just going, especially when you get down. So it's important to hold leads, to finish games. You got to be able to run it. You got to be able to string runs together. And backs got to get into a rhythm too. I mean, there's going to be some. You hope your negative runs aren't on 1st and 10, but there's going to be negative runs that happen, and you got to keep kicking the can and trying to crack one. And sooner or later, someone will, and that's going to give them confidence. This could be a week to do that.
And Coach, what do you call that first play on the first possession?
Oh, that P and 10.
Yeah. Jerry DiPaolo from the Trib. I love his.
You're always learning.
Yeah, every
right?
week you
P
should.
and 10.
There shouldn't be a single day or a week that goes by you don't learn something. As a coach, as a fan, as broadcasters, it's entertaining. I mean, that's why we all do what we do in our own fields here, is because you love the game of football. There's passion, and I can't believe we're in week 4 already. It seems like we just got started, right?
It really does. It's going fast, and I want to get through this week, see what we got, see how we rebound.
Got to rebound.
I have a feeling we'll see a good rebound, and we'll see on Saturday at noon. So let's take a look at New Hampshire again. Overall, what's it going to take to beat the Wildcats, Pat?
It's fundamentals, right? I mean, it's not a whole lot of – there's not a special sauce, right? I mean, every play, Larry, is designed to work on both sides of the ball. It's designed to score a touchdown, typically on offense, but that doesn't usually happen. It comes down to fundamentals, technique, execution, and adjusting. I think you got a lot of guys on this Pitt team playing at a high level. It's just putting it all together, too. Playing complementary football. You get a couple stops on defense. What do you do with it? Turn the ball over. You get it back on offense. Do you score? Those are the types of things that great teams do, and you can learn that. I mean, I think you can develop that as the season goes on. And the thing that I love about this team is I think anytime you got number 8 back there, you got a chance to win. And it's about giving him the rock at the right time to go win the game for you. And didn't have that opportunity a week ago. But you're going to have that opportunity the balance of this year in a lot of close football games. So you've learned in one close game how to win it. You learned in one close game how to lose it. So how do you apply that moving forward and go win some ball games and start with the Wildcats?
I would imagine that the mindset for all the players is they want to exercise the demons and get a W and show what they can do.
I like the attitude this week, Coach. Kids have been buzzing around. I mean, they're practicing hard. They were good last week, too. I know you said that, but
I'm done evaluating those practices.
Yeah.
We got to know what they're doing. These kids go through so many things that are going on in their lives personally. When they walk through that building, we've got a kind of a blue vase out there. We talk to guys about just taking, hey, anything that's happened outside the building, throw it in that vase, and now it's just football. But when they leave there, who knows what they go to, and that's what you worry about. Staying off of social media. I mean, you guys talk about name, image, and likeness and transfers, and then throw the cell phones in that whole package together, and it's a recipe for who knows what.
Disaster.
So.
Well, you can't control all of that. The fact is, as a parent, as a coach, I mean, these things didn't exist when you started coaching or I was raising my kids. Your 2 young children are going to be in a world where, this is coming at them all the time. So we're counting on you, Pat.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like leaders got to lead, too, in the locker room. That's when, you got a veteran football team. You got guys like Kenny Pickett and Deslin and guys that have been through it that need to lead by example in good times and in bad. And, I've been through when you're not supposed to lose and you lose, all those things. And you find out who you're made of, who you are. And you find out who's in and who's not. And there'll be guys that don't want to fold in line and straighten up. Those guys you can't win with those guys. So I saw a bunch of guys at practice this week that want to play. And we'll find out on Saturday if that's a better version than they were a week ago. I think it will be.
We always appreciate your input. Always look forward to working with you, and I don't take that for granted, Pat. Thank you.
Ditto, my friend. Thank you.
Pat Bostic, some final thoughts with head coach Pat Narduzzi when we come back. You're listening to the Pat Narduzzi Show, presented by Dollar Energy Fund on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.
Last year was unique.
It was odd not hearing the fans in the stands.
I can't wait for this year to start.
Let's return to Hines.
The band,
The crowd.
the hits, the big hits.
College game day. The scrambles.
The big catches.
The sacks.
The celebrations.
One more dive to the pylon.
Stick together, attitude and effort all day long, okay? And we go Pitt tough.
Welcome back to the Pat Narduzzi Show. Looking forward to homecoming. It's Pitt and New Hampshire, the Wildcats, for a noon kickoff. And two Pitt greats will be in attendance to sign autographs, Hugh Green and Ricky Jackson. 10:30 to 11:30 inside the Great Hall. So that's just part of a lot of festivities that come with homecoming. Pat Narduzzi.
You going to get an autograph?
I can't. I'm doing the pregame show. They got me locked in a booth with Pat Bostic.
Oh, boy.
Which is all good. We ramp up for the game. Look forward to it. Got a lot of exciting interviews lined up. So let's get some final thoughts as you prepare for this final non-conference game.
Well, I can't wait to watch your kids go out and play. I mean, I think every Saturday is exciting to see what you put out on that field. And, I think our kids are hungry. I think they're a little angry from last week, and I expect to see an angry football team on Saturday.
How do you evaluate when you're scouting an FCS team and telling your guys, here's our opponent? So I don't think you'll have a problem motivating them.
Yeah, the motivation better be there. I think last week motivates them. It's hard to watch the tape sometimes. It's different tape than you're normally used to. And you're watching them go against Stony Brook and Lehigh and Lafayette and whoever else they played, Albany. So you're watching them against different teams. But they're a good football team, and I know they're going to be tough, and that's what we've sold all week.
Yeah, and you know the head coach very well. Again, 22 seasons, Sean McDonald, and I know he has a lot of respect for what you've done here. So I think he'll have his team ready too.
There's no question about it. Good coach, and he's done it a long time.
Well, Coach, good luck against the New Hampshire Wildcats.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Saturday at noon, and we have our pregame starting at 10 o'clock. Looking forward to Homecoming 2021. And we'd like to thank our executive producer, P.J. Comanchic, Amanda Soleil producing here at the Pete. Kel Berger does an outstanding job at Master Control and his game day contributions. Pitt's Paul Bartow and his team also do great work here with their productions. Special thank to our Executive Associate Athletic Director, Media Relations, E.J. Borghetti. Pitt, Beyond the Script, Saturday, AT&T Sportsnet at 10:30. Plus, the Pat Narduzzi radio show on TV will air Friday at 4:30 and Saturday morning at 10 right before Pitt Beyond the Script. This is Larry Richard wishing you a great night and looking forward to Homecoming, brought to you by Dollar Energy Fund. You've been listening and watching the Pat Narduzzi Show here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.